All right, so one of the things I have going on today is a home inspection report. This house is, I guess, close to being sold, so it's a bunch of things on the list that the home inspector pointed out. One of the main things, which is very important, is GFCI protection near a sink. So you have a minimum of 2 kitchen appliance circuits in every home. It doesn't matter if the home is 50 years old, they are there, like inside of here. But there's no water source on this side, so it's no GFCI protection, nor is it required over on this part of the kitchen. There is a water source right here, so you have to have the protection within a certain distance from the sink. So obviously this is very close to the sink. It's possible you can splash water there, and yeah, even that technically is close enough. So what I plan on doing is, instead of installing a GFCI here along the circuit, because that can actually create more problems when troubleshooting, I decided to find the beginning of the circuit once it comes from the electrical panel, and that location is right here. I spent time testing each receptacle to see where the circuit goes. This one actually travels from here, starts there, and it goes to each one of these, goes to the refrigerator. And then this is a different circuit over here. That is a different circuit on those receptacles there. But from the refrigerator, it travels to this location, and the end of the line, as we call it, goes there. That's pretty much the entire circuit once it leaves the electrical panel. I was able to locate everything by just spending time and testing everything. You can have a circuit tracer to find this stuff, which comes in handy, but yeah, as you can see, the breaker is turned off, but you can't test something like this without the breaker being on, unless you want to just do a continuity test from this point to wherever you assume the beginning of the circuit is. Since this panel is on this side of the house, that beginning of the circuit could possibly be in that dining room area. It can start there and then travel backwards towards the kitchen, or it could go from here and travel to that receptacle where it actually does start, which is by the sliding glass door. So it just depends on how everything is wired. That would determine where the beginning of the circuit is for this kitchen appliance circuit. It would definitely take much longer to do that with a continuity test. But so that's why a circuit tracer, when it's like live, it makes things much easier, at least for identifying where the be able to turn off the circuit and do it from there. So I'm getting ready to install this new GFCI here. They have light almond colored devices with a white cover plate. That was pretty much the style that they used, I guess, back in this time, to kind of match the countertop color and the wall color. I mean, I always thought it looks kind of like backwards in a way, but I mean, my job is to replace it with something that is pretty much similar to what they have. So I got my light almond colored device. I got my cover plate, which is nylon. That's pretty much what I like to use. I didn't want to use a GFCI breaker for this, because this, I really can't. Mainly because this circuit is on a tandem breaker, so it's no space for any type of breaker that takes one space anyway in that panel, because it's really old. It's definitely time for panel swap at the bare minimum. It's already a 2.5 service, so I think that's large enough for this home anyway. But yeah, it's just no room for any additional circuits in that panel, so I can't use a GFCI breaker for this. That is another option of how I can get this job done, with making sure that everything is protected from water. But yeah, if you don't have space to do something like that, it's just, there's nothing you can do about that. So this is the option that I'd have to go with for this specific job. Which, I mean, it'll definitely work. These devices have been used for so many years. They're older than I am, so they definitely work for this situation as well as any other ones that you may have to deal with. So when I install this will protect everything downstream, provided that it is installed correctly. If it's not wired correctly, then it will not protect everything downstream. Either you will have an issue where no power is going out to the device, which that is a sign that it is miswired or there's no power coming in, or you can wire it in a way where everything is on one side and it doesn't protect anything downstream, because it just brings constant power no matter if the GFCI trips or not, which can be a safety hazard, because if you're expecting something to protect you from a potential danger, you want it to be able to activate when it is coming into a fault like that. So everything is wired up. One of the things I always like to do is make sure that all connections are tight. People in the trade would call it the ooga dooga for the drill, but yeah, this is, I don't need to do all that. Make sure it's hand tight, because I know I'm pretty strong. So that is in there. So that should light up once I turn on the breaker. Go. Alright, so ran down there. Light is green. The refrigerator kicked on. Make sure it's wired correctly. 2 lights to the right means it's good. Any other combination means something is wrong. So if it's wired correctly, that means I should be able to use my tester to get that to activate no matter what. So this one, as you can see, is wired correctly there. The refrigerator was not on at first, but now that's on because that's part of the circuit. This house is older, so it doesn't have a dedicated circuit for a refrigerator. And this is the end of the line for the circuit. So I should be able to press the button and we'll hear a pop where it goes off. And there we go. So it protects everything downstream as it's supposed to. And you can see that the light is no longer on because it has been triggered to trip the circuit. So turn it back on. Green light is on. And I'm gonna do the same thing again, where you'll see that the circuit will trigger itself when I press it over here. And yep, that works. And yeah, we're all good here. I have another circuit that I have to do the same thing to in here, where it's just locating where the beginning of the circuit is and protecting everything else downstream with the other kitchen appliance. It may not be necessary because there's no other water source here, but just in case, at least I'll know where that stuff is. But yeah, everything is protected here, so this is no longer a safety hazard. So I made it to the finish line with this one.